Hey guys, I'm here with Amber from
Fat Mermaids Unite on Tumblr.
Yes, and so today we are going to answer your LGBTQ questions that you sent us in on Tumblr. Alright, anonymous question, what are your coming out stories? So you can tell yours.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay, basically, I think it was sophomore year of high school, like February break, my mom and I were on our way home from a trip, so we were in like a 4-hour long car drive, and she just like asked me like straight up, she was like, are you gay? And I kind of like did the 1 foot out of the closet thing, and I was like, no, I think I might be bi. And then, yeah, I don't know, just over the years, my mom and I have had like more of an open conversation about it, and she knows that like for the most part I'm only romantically attracted to girls, so that's fine, I guess. Like, she doesn't really care, it's easy enough with her. But she definitely wasn't the first person I came out to, that was Kayla. And that was actually like an accident, right? Like, I messaged you on Tumblr meaning for it to be a like
sent
asking
me an anonymous message on Tumblr.
But I fucking like forgot to click the button. Does it matter if I swear?
No.
Okay, I forgot to click the button, like, to send anonymously. So then she was like, hey,
I feel like
hi.
you had to send this anonymously, but now I know this information.
So that was nice and awkward.
I was like, you know, we can talk about it if you want, or if you want me to pretend that I never found out, we can do that too.
Yeah. Coming out felt like so long ago. Like, I barely remember coming out to anyone.
Like 2 years ago now.
I know, but I've just, like, over the past few years, I've become so comfortable with myself that I don't remember the questioning phase. I don't remember feeling uncomfortable. Like, honestly, it just feels like so long ago. And with anyone that I came out to, like, I didn't have a really rough time. So it definitely, like, all of my coming out stories are pretty easy. So anyway, I came out to my dad like a month ago, and basically I was in the car with him, and I was like, I'm just gonna tell you, like, rip it off like a band-aid. Like, if I don't tell you right now, I will literally never ever tell you. And so I was just like, I'm gay. And he literally just stared at me for like 3 minutes. Like, I honestly thought he was gonna like kick me out of the car. I was like, do you have any questions? Like, is there anything you would like to say? Like, please say something. And he was just like, okay. And then I like asked if he had any questions, and he basically was just like, what did he even say? He was just like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. And that was just like it, and like we never talked about it again. I mean, it's only been a month, but still. Yeah, so that was weird. But that's basically it, and like coming out to everyone has been pretty chill for me, which is nice, obviously.
Okay, so mine. The conversation started with me pestering Amber for answers to different questions, I think. I was like questioning everything. I thought for a while that I might have been asexual, and then I thought demisexual, and I was all over the place. I didn't know what was going on, and then I finally settled on realizing that I was gay, and so I didn't really come out to Amber ever, but she was the first person to know because of all the questioning and all the discussions there. And then the first person I came out to in person was my friend Jody, and I think she was sleeping over my house, and we were just talking, and I was like really nervous, but I was staring at my ceiling and it was dark, so it's fine. That's how you have all those awkward conversations. But she was totally fine with it. Yeah, that's how I have all my awkward conversations, is I make sure it's the middle of the night, everyone's half asleep and the lights are off. So yeah, but she was totally fine with it, and I was like shocked for some reason. I guess because of her family, I figured that she would have a problem with it, but she didn't. And then coming out to my mom didn't really happen voluntarily. She was in my computer and found out that information via text messages I had sent to other people. And so that didn't really go well. That was a really horrible night.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was last April. I got home from school and she was like, I went up to my bedroom and I noticed that my laptop was not fully charged, which was weird because it had been charging the whole day at school. So I asked her if she had been using it, and she was like, oh, yeah, I need to talk to you. And I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be bad. So then she came up to my room and I immediately realized what she was gonna talk to me about. So I locked my door and I didn't let her in. And I was sitting on the other side of my locked door. So playing, and I just wouldn't let her in. And then she started sending me text messages saying, you have to let me in. She said, I'll break your door down if you don't let me in. And it just stressful, and I didn't know what to do, so I started texting a bunch of people. I texted Amber, I think, and I texted Jody, and I was just like, everything is a disaster right now, and I was totally stressed out. But after a while of her, my mom...
Really? Only last year?
Yeah, it was last April.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a stressful April. Yeah, so much time was really fast. But yeah, after like half an hour of her trying to get in, she threatened to break the door down, so I just opened it, realizing that I couldn't really escape the situation. And she just came in and she was like, "Is this true? Are you telling the truth? Are you making this up?" And we got into this really big fight, and I ended up leaving the house. It was like 11 at night, and I was leaving the house, and she was saying that she would call the police on me, and all of this craziness, and it got really rough. I ran into a park near my house, and I called Amber on the phone and let her know that I just left my house. I brought my laptop and my phone just so that my mom couldn't get information from them, but like I didn't have chargers, I didn't have socks, like I was just a mess. And so I sat there for a while, and then my friend Jody came with a bunch of people and found me at the park, and then we just hung out for a while, and everyone was really super cool about it. And eventually things blew over, and my mom kind of let it go. A couple times since then, she's tried to convince me that I'm lying about it, or say that she doesn't believe me, but sometimes she's cool about it, so it's fine now. My dad still doesn't know, and most of my extended family doesn't, but I'm very comfortable with everyone else in the world knowing. So I don't like necessarily go out of my way to tell other people, but if it comes up, it comes up, or it's just a fact that I don't care to hide, but I don't necessarily like announce it to the world.
It's like one trait of a personality.
Right. It's like my
not
hair
like I'm gonna
color.
be like telling everyone, but I also don't care if anyone knows.
I don't go up to every single person and be like, "Hey, by the way, I'm gay."
Exactly.
It's
like if someone like asked me how tall I was, I would tell them. If someone asked me if I was gay, I would tell them.
Yeah,
like it's literally the same.
It's not something that I hide from people, but it's not something I go out of my way to like announce to the whole entire world. So that's basically it. I would consider myself out to most people. It's just not like I've announced it specifically to everybody. Okay. Next, these are more informational questions. Anonymous asked, "Do you consider asexuality part of the community?"
Hands down, yes.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Like anyone who identifies as anything other than straight is part of the LGBT community for me.
Or cisgender.
Right, yes.
Any sexual orientation or gender identity that is not like cis, straight is part of it. So yeah, definitely asexuality. Okay, next question. What is the difference between trans and trans with the asterisk? So the trans with the asterisk is basically just a variation on the word that is more inclusive of gender identities that are not just like male or female, or like male to female, female to male. It's inclusive of things like agender, genderqueer, gender fluid, like
non-binary genders.
Yeah, demi-girl, demi-guy.
Yeah, really anything that's not cisgender.
Yeah. I am a lesbian, and I live in a very homophobic country, and I am really scared and feel threatened because I know that if I mention my sexuality accidentally, something bad could happen to me or my girlfriend. Don't even want to think about what will happen if anyone else sees us kissing or doing other coupley things. I am just scared, and it's not fair to feel that threatened just because of my sexuality. Any tips on how to deal with that?
This question makes me so sad. I don't know how old you are, but I would say if you're planning on going to college, if there's any chance you can get out of your country for college. I know, like, at least here in America, there are so many college campuses that are, like, more LGBT friendly than they are, like, straight friendly, basically.
Yeah, they're very, very
like,
LGBT, like, strong
colleges. Like, it's like Disney World for the gays. It's great. But you're right, like, it's not fair. That's not fair at all. It's horrible. I think that definitely, like, I know for me, a lot of online communities have been, like a sanctuary for me, especially when I was in that time of, like, questioning and trying to figure out sort of what was going on. Yeah, so, but online communities feel like a sanctuary a lot of times if you can use, like, Twitter, Tumblr. Probably not
Tumblr
Instagram,
is so gay.
But yeah, Tumblr, YouTube, definitely. Sort of as a way to communicate with other people who might be in the same situation as you. I know also there's so many like hotlines and stuff like that if you ever feel like unsafe in your own home and like need someone to talk to. I don't know if that's the case for you. Yeah, I don't know. I guess basically that's what I would say. But definitely if you have the financial means, or like if your family is okay with you coming to school in another country, like I would suggest that, because it sounds like your country is a little shitty. It might be nice to get away from that. Yeah.
Alright, next question.
But you don't have anything to say?
I don't know, I felt like you did a good job.
Okay.
LGBTQ question. How to eat a girl out the right way?
The right way, not the wrong way.
Because apparently there's a right and wrong way to sex, which there
It's
isn't.
not true.
No,
Every
there
way is a good way. That's actually not true at all, but lots of ways are good ways. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
You can go for it.
Okay, well, I guess I would just say, like, to be really giving and to get into it, like, don't do it unless you actually want to. Like, she will be able to tell if you're not into it. And that just makes everyone feel uncomfortable. Yeah, so, like, always feel free to say no, and
The only tip I have, and this goes for anything in regards to sex, not just eating a girl out, is that you always have to be communicating and
Yes.
making sure that you're both on the same page. And
yes,
you're both,
always communicate.
yeah, that's just the most important. That's a general rule for anything involving
And
sex.
like, if you're giving head to someone who's like, I don't know, maybe more tentative or like uncomfortable or something, like make sure to like tell them to tell you to stop, or ask you to do certain things. Like if there's, like, ask them what they want basically. And yeah, I mean, if this is an experience they've had before, they'll probably know what they like and what they don't like. And if it's not an experience they've had before, then it can be like a learning experience for both of you. But yeah, definitely like keep communication open, and like never be afraid to stop and like ask, like, does this feel good, or do you want something else? Like, 'cause those are always great things to hear. And yeah, so yeah, I guess if you feel like they might not tell you, then like don't be afraid to just pause and ask, like, is this what you want, or is there something else? Yeah, I guess that's what I would say.
So last night, me and my girlfriend talked dirty, and it wasn't like, hey, let's talk dirty. It just sorts happened, and it was really awesome. But we've never had sex before. Does this mean we're ready for sex?
I'm laughing because there's no like right or wrong time to be ready for sex. Like, there's no like, now we've talked dirty so we know we're ready for sex, or like, well, we've done everything else so now we're ready for sex. Like, that's never a thing. It's like, it has to be, I mean, definitely, like I just said with the last question, like communication is key, and also like everyone's ready at different times.
You're ready for it when you both talk to each other and decide that you're ready for it.
Yeah.
It's something that you want to try.
Exactly. And, you know, I would say, like, if you don't feel comfortable enough to have a conversation about whether or not you're ready for it, then I would say, like, you're not ready for it. I definitely think that, like, you need to be able to have that conversation with your partner, like, no matter who it is, even if it's someone, like, you're literally meeting for the first time, like, with the plan to hook up, like, you need to have that conversation of, like, what do you want, like, how far are we going, et cetera, et cetera. And definitely, like, it can be, like, in the moment if that makes you feel more comfortable. But yeah, definitely, like, have the conversation, and don't be afraid to, like, say what you want, even if they're not asking.
And then the last question that we have is, does scissoring actually feel good? I've heard people say yes and no.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've actually never tried scissoring. I don't know, I feel like it's really awkward. Like, I don't want to say I'm opposed to trying it, but I definitely think that's more like, hey, here's a thing that happens in porn and never in real life.
I
Surprise!
feel like it's not as realistic of a thing that usually happens. First of all, because it's just difficult.
Yeah, that's too awkward. Like,
It's like-
legs, arms, too many body parts everywhere.
It's a really difficult thing to do, so it really doesn't happen as often as porn likes to think it happens. But, I mean, and also you can't say, like, yes, this one thing feels good to everybody who does it.
Right.
Or doesn't feel good to everybody.
Exactly.
People like different things, so if you like it, then good, and if you don't, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all of the LGBTQ questions that we have for today. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment to this video. Definitely check out Amber's Tumblr, at Mermaids Unite. Check out my Tumblr, I'll link to both of those. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.